And I hope the mic is working. Sometimes, okay, I think we're on. So today I'm actually, as I told you yesterday, going to make the not tuna pate, and it's my famous not tuna pate, and the reason that I think that it's so good is that my mom used to make me the best tuna fish growing up. I just loved the flavor of it, and so I just simulated that with raw food. And what that consists of, I'm about to give you, and I never do this, but I'm going to give you the ingredients and how much is in, how much of each one I use. So you can get a pen and a paper. Now, so I used 1 cup of almonds. I soaked them for 8 hours and I rinse and drain them. That's to get the enzyme inhibitors off and make them live and nutritious and easily digestible, because the almonds that are not soaked, we cannot digest. 1.5 cups of sunflower seeds soaked for 2 hours, rinsed and drained. I didn't have that many sunflower seeds, so I substituted half of that for pumpkin seeds. If you didn't have any sunflower seeds, use pumpkin seeds. If you don't have pumpkin seeds, use all sunflower. In any case, that is 1.5 cups of some sort of seed. Then I did chopped up very fine 2 cups of celery. That works out to be like a bunch of celery, a little bit less than that. The key is to chop them really fine, because you want to think about the texture of the mock tuna and then biting into teeny little pieces of celery, not very large. The same goes for the purple onion or red onion, and it's very finely chopped, and this is 1 cup, about, you know, a small to a medium onion. Then we have 2.5 teaspoons of salt, 4 tablespoons of fresh parsley, which I don't have. So what I might do is chopped up, I have some Italian salad, just chop up 4 tablespoons of salad to have the greens in there because it looks pretty. And 2 tablespoons of very finely chopped dulse. You can buy it already chopped. 1/4 cup of olive oil or coconut oil. You can leave this out. If you want no oil, you don't have to use it. It just makes it a little bit creamier in texture. And this is coconut oil. And I warmed it up in the jar, in water, on the stove, so that it was liquid and I could measure it. And this is a lot. You don't have to use this, so don't panic. You can use just a teaspoon if you want, or none at all. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. 1 clove of garlic, and since I'm not using fresh garlic these days, I chose to use 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And 3 juiced lemons, and I only had 2, so I'm using 2. And 1/4 cup of water to blend if you need it. And basically what I do first is I just take the seeds and the almonds, and let me measure a cup of these, and I just blend them as fine as I can in the food processor. If you, I think this is backwards, if you have a Green Star juicer or a juicer with a double auger, it's a double auger machine, and there's a homogenizing plate, that will get an even finer pate, which is really wonderful. But if you don't have that machine, don't worry. The food processor will do really nicely. But you do have to leave it on. Don't be afraid to leave the food processor on for a while so it blends as fine as possible. There we go. So, I don't know, tuna fish was a big part of my growing up. So that's 1 cup. That's all we need is 1 cup of almonds. Okay, so I blended it a little bit, and I'm using a spatula to scrape down the sides. And then you hear Howie in the background slurping on his coconut water. I'm making this not tuna pate for Howie. He and I are working on a project, a plan, which I'm going to introduce soon. And so he's excited to try the not tuna pate. So maybe you'll meet Howie in a little bit. But right now I've added the lemon juice. And I'm going to add a little bit of the coconut oil. It will help, obviously the liquids will help the seeds and nuts blend. So here we go again.
Pacific Delta, take me out to sea to feel the mystery. I've been riding with the free rein across the grassy plains like an Indian.
I'm going to get a 1/4 cup of water. We could add, I'll tell you what, we could add the garlic, the salt, and the pepper, so that way it all blends very well and we don't have to rely on mixing that ourselves. Okay, so Howie and I have been discussing different diets and which you know, I've tried all of the different kinds of raw food diets, higher fat, lots of leafy greens, little fruit. I've done the whole fruitarian thing, which I absolutely love, easy to do in the summer. A meal like this is not necessarily a fruitarian or high 80-10-10 meal, although a little bit of this would be fine for dinner. I find that what gives me the most energy is having the tea in the morning, fruit smoothie, fruit for lunch, and a big salad with some seeds on it for dinner. That's how I like to eat. And I do when we're reading the 80-10-10 Douglas Graham's book, Dr. Douglas Graham. It's fantastic. I mean, it just makes so much sense. It's just really a matter of it being practical in your life. But if you try it, you can't even imagine how much energy you have. Okay, so this is absolutely beautiful. So now it's time to take it out of... Would you check and make sure I'm still on? The phone has been filling up. So I'm going to put this in a bowl, and then... We're happy. I know I've made this not tuna pate on video before. I don't know that if I've already done it and given the exact measurements, then I'm just doing it again. It's so pretty and it's so easy to do. And if you think about this, if this serves 6, you can get 6 meals out of this, and it's 1 cup of almonds. I'm going to ask Howie we're going to figure this out. It's 1 cup of almonds, 2.5 cups of seeds, and that's basically, you know, the fat that's in here. I also used a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. So you know what, I'm going to figure out what's involved in the fat situation here, because that's interesting to me these days. So this is a huge amount of food, and really what my idea for eating this way is I make a teeny little, what's it called, like a little cup of it. I'm going to show you actually, I'm going to do that. And then you serve that on a big bed of greens or on a lot of romaine, so that you're having a little bit of the nuts and seeds, and you are having a whole lot of fiber, a whole lot of greens. I'm going to use a little less. Okay, so we have the dose. This is beautiful, and I'm going to need a bigger bowl. And I mix it with my hands. My hands are very clean. I mix it with my hands because that's just the best way to do it. Okay, so you guys, this is Howie.
Hi.
Yay. Okay, so what we're doing right now, Howie and I are calculating how much a serving needs to be of this. So I haven't fully plated it for him yet, but I wanted him to try it so he could get excited about what he's working on. What do you think?
Tastes exactly like tuna fish.
Right? It's crazy. It does. So I did plate it, but then I thought before he eats it and before we eat it, I want to know the proper serving amount so that we're getting not too many calories, not too much fat, so we can all eat this and feel totally, with no guilt, right?
Right. Okay, let's do the math.
So we'll come back. Howie's going to do the math. We'll see in a bit. Okay, here's the really cool news, is that after Howie's calculations, pretty much, he's still in the middle of it, what I intuitively was serving him was exactly what came out of the calculation. So this is the entire recipe, and I was calculating, or I estimated that it was 6 servings. It was 6 servings for someone my size. For a woman to have 2,000 calories a day, you'd want to have about a 500 calorie meal?
Yes.
Okay, so just for the record, you don't need the coconut oil. I wish I didn't add it to this. I can kind of feel it and taste it. It's not necessary. So we're going to delete the coconut oil from the recipe, and then Howie's going to explain what he found. Yes?
Yeah, so by adding all the ingredients like the almonds, sunflower seeds, celery, lettuce, we come to about 2,400 calories for this recipe. And you divide that by 4, you get 600 calories, which 600 times 4 is 2,400, which is about the daily recommended allowance for an active male. And then for an active female, it's about 2,000. So therefore, you could get more servings if you're serving.
Right.
Just from
so basically, but if you're a very active female, of course, eat what, you know, so it's hard to say like what size you are, and male and female is very general. But if you are a small person like me and I'm pretty active, so I probably could eat the same as, you know, I could eat the same as an active male, but I think intuitively I would eat a little bit less than these 2 patties. So the exciting news is for this recipe, you can just cut it in quarters and serve somebody a quarter of it.
Right.
Plated however you want, and know that you're still in, you know, the realm of, so as far as like the 80-10-10 diet goes, how would this fit? Do we figure out fat-wise? We didn't do that, we did calorie.
Right. But this is, the almonds have a fat, that's your fat right there. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to
I'm curious
see
where this falls in. Okay, let's go back and calculate. But I'm going to serve Howie his meal, and then we're going to calculate how much fat is in this and see where it falls according to, you know, if it's too much fat to eat for dinner according to the 80-10-10 diet. We'll be back. Definitely leave out the coconut oil, and we'll be right back. But in the meantime, Howie, you can eat. Okay. Right? Okay, everybody, this is the whole recipe cut up into quarters.
It absolutely, positively tastes exactly like tuna fish. No dolphins were killed.
Yeah, no critters were harmed.
Get your greens on.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate, leave out the coconut oil, and to follow, obviously, the 80-10-10 diet, Dr. Douglas Graham does not recommend the use of salt. Correct?
Correct.
So I used a lot of salt, and I'm feeling it's on the salty side. Definitely cut, even if you're not following that diet, you can cut the salt in half. So I used 2 1/4. You just use 1 teaspoon of salt, and that will be great. And none if you don't want any. So see you soon, and this is it. Get your greens on. Okay, everybody. I can't believe I turned on the camera again, but I have to just sum this up. Basically, I had just now half of one of those servings. So if I were to cut up the whole recipe into 8 pieces, that would equal in the calories and the fat, a 1/4 cup. We calculated that in order to follow the 80-10-10 diet, Dr. Graham is recommending 15 almonds, which is approximately a 1/4 cup. So if you split up this recipe into 8 pieces, then that will give you a 1/4 cup combined of almonds and sunflower seeds, which, believe me, is plenty, because so that means that this will serve 8. If you want to eat this and you're on the 80-10-10 diet and you are eating fat that day, then you can have 1/8 of the entire recipe over a big bowl of the most gorgeous Italian greens like I did tonight, and you will feel great like I do now. So, and if you're a larger person, of course, have anyway, so I just wanted to be clear, because this really isn't like, I'm not following the 80-10-10 plan with this recipe, but it is nice to know where we land in the fat department. And if for some reason, we were reading in the book that you do have a higher fat day than the next couple of days, you could have no fat. And there's plenty of ways to do that. So I highly recommend the book 80-10-10. It's fantastic. It makes so much sense. Not the easiest to follow for everybody, I understand, but Howie and I are going to we're going to do a 30-day 80-10-10 and just see how we feel. So there you go, everybody. There's the not tuna recipe. We absolutely love it, and it's a total treat. So definitely try it, and I will see you very soon, and get your greens on.